What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Trey, and I'm back with some more game for y'all today.
Yo, what's good, man? Kagelvltv here with Trey Got Game.
So, as we prepare to head into the next year, 2023, we decided to take a step back and reflect on this past year of 2022. Here is our 2022 year-end review. So, for the first question that I have for you is what was your best memory from 2022?
Man, my best memory of 2022, man. It's a couple, but the one that sticks out to most is like going to DreamCon for the first time. Like, man, I knew it was gonna be exciting. Like just seeing like videos like of the ones in the past DreamCons and all that, but it was truly probably the best weekend of my life. And I learned so much there.
Wow.
Because everyone there, loves anime. Everyone there is like cosplaying as their favorite anime character. Everyone there is a content creator. It's everybody, you walk around, everybody got cameras. Everybody got people recording them.
It's a vibe. Everybody making content.
Yeah, everybody got content, man.
Okay.
Everybody cosplaying and all that. And like, initially I went there with me and my grandpa. And it was just me at the conventions.
Yeah.
But then you meet so many people, and now like we formed a group, and we all going next year together. So
Yeah, was that the group of people? One of the dudes had said like Michael Jordan would be a Bradley Bill.
Yeah, so
that was them.
He ain't one of them.
Okay.
That's kind of the best thing about DreamCon. I ain't gonna cap.
You're gonna see a lot of everything. I feel like from seeing you right before you went to right after, I definitely seen that growth. Like I feel like that made you better, bro.
DreamCon was definitely like motivational, and they had like panels and all that set up. Shout out to RDC and them. Like they set up panels to like how to further your YouTube channel
Education.
Panels on like how to work smarter, not harder with your YouTube. So it was lit. I ain't gonna lie.
Nice.
It wasn't just an anime and gaming convention. It was much more than that.
Okay. That's, bro, honestly, like that's a great experience for sure. For me, I would say like my best moment of 2022, I had to think about it a lot because I was gonna say our road trip that we went on because that was a vibe.
That was a vibe.
But I would say like the best moment for me this year, even bigger than me graduating college, was moving into my first apartment.
Okay.
That day, pretty much when I graduated from college, the first day I came back to Cleveland, like I love my mom to death, but I told her like, Ma, I gotta live on my own. I gotta find my own place. I came back May 7th was the day of graduation. I came back then. I was moved out by June 10th. Like just over 30 days. The only reason it took that long is I had to wait for approval from the apartment. I had to do an application and do all that type of stuff. But that day, it was so many emotions because I literally packed everything like maybe that day. Like I got everything packed that day, like my bed and everything from back at home in my mom's house in Cleveland. Made that trip, and I literally like I did something that I didn't think I would be able to even get done this year living on my own. I had you and another one of my friends come help me move everything in. Had y'all support, my mom. Just the whole vibe of it was crazy. Like I was emotional that day, bro. Like when I heard my mom and I told her about it, like I genuinely almost cried.
So was it different from like you going off to college?
It was entirely different because me going off to college was more like, okay, I'm about to take on this different journey. I'm about to have these experiences and everything, and it's like it's my first time like sleeping in a bed that wasn't in my mom's house. You know what I'm saying? Like long term. But when I moved in on my own, it was kind of like I could feel like how proud my mom was of me, and I knew like I'm a man now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on like because when you're in college, you're not living at home, but you ain't got to pay like rent every month, and you don't have to do things like that because you're going to school. You're kind of in a bubble. But for me, it was like this is real life now, and it was to a point that like it was one of those seminal moments where like I realized like I'm really doing this thing. I'm really doing this thing because like throughout this year, it's been a lot of ups and downs. Moments like I really like this year I've doubted myself more than any other time in my life. But like when that happened, I was like, okay, I gotta acknowledge like I've been doing some great things. For me to be in that position where like I can move in on my own, like it took a lot to get there. Like even like from like a mental maturity standpoint. So like that's why I would say like that's been like the biggest moment and the best moment of 2022 for me.
Yeah. And now like being on your own now, what's the most important lesson that you learned
Oh man.
this year?
Being on my own now and like being able to do whatever I want is realizing like the responsibility that comes with that. Like now, obviously, like I know how to do things like clean up after myself. You know I can cook.
Yeah.
You know I can throw down in the kitchen, stuff like that. But the fact that like, yo, this can be taken from me. If I'm not on my stuff, I'm not paying my bills on time, these lights can get cut off.
Yeah.
If I'm not on top of my grind, I can get evicted. Things like that. Just being able to have something of my own and the maturity that comes with that. Because like now, I can have whoever I want to in my house. You know what I'm saying? In my crib. I can do whatever. But there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And doing the right thing and like being smart about things, you know? Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
So with this year in review, we'll be asking each other questions. We'll have like discussion questions, and we even have a few end of year awards. And the first discussion question that I had was, what music artists do you think had an underrated year?
Underrated year, man.
Underrated.
Me particularly, especially this year, I found myself listening to like the same couple artists over and over, just because like I always felt like everybody say you need to like expand your variety and all that. You don't need to do that, honestly, for real. But like the against your question though, underrated. That's a tough one. That's a really out of the artists that I listen to, I can honestly say it's not an underrated artist, but I feel like their project they released this year was underrated. And that was Kendrick Lamar's Just Around the Big Steppers.
Nice.
I feel like that's underrated. Like, everybody know Kendrick Lamar, but people was downgrading his album at first when it first came out, just because it's not your usual Kendrick Lamar album. The album is basically like his own therapy session. And people did not like that at first. I know Kendrick Lamar fans who like said like, I'm done with Kendrick after they listened to that album. So I feel like that's the most underrated project of the year because he's talking about some real stuff. Yeah. Like we've seen Kendrick in this light for so long, and for him to open up and tell us how he really been feeling, why he was gone for so long, why he didn't make no music in so long, is like, it was just amazing. So I feel like that's my underrated artist of the year. But it's weird saying underrated and Kendrick in the same sentence. So I'm gonna say that's my underrated project of the year. Okay. Mr. Around the Big Steppers.
All right, before I get into mine, I want to acknowledge like that Kendrick Lamar album. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Because like what you were saying, like for me, you said therapy session. I agree with that, but also I just heard a lot of growth in them. And I like when I hear artists and I hear the growth, because I kind of hear like how his previous music that he made was I feel like the previous music he made was more of a therapy session, and like how the environment that he grew up with, how that reflects on him. And then in this album, I feel like he kind of spoke on how his music, which was a reflection of his environment and how he grew up, kind of fed back into that environment. Yeah, is what I liked. That song Savior was crazy.
That song Savior was crazy.
Savior was my favorite song from that album. Yeah, because I'm like, man, like the things that like we see and that we value so high in this world, from like music and entertainment and sports, it's really not like, it's kind of like a temporary high in a sense. Like it gets you think like you watching LeBron, but he's not your savior because you watching it on TV, but you still have to go back to the reality in which you're surrounded by. Like that's not gonna help you escape. Yeah, and yeah, that was. I think I like the album a lot. For me, I'm just like you, man. And in terms of like, when I'm locked in, like if I'm in the gym or I'm grinding or I'm doing something, I'm listening to something I know is gonna bring me those motivational feelings. So I didn't listen to like that many new people, but I kind of rediscovered Big Sean this year, man.
Okay.
Big Sean, I didn't realize how much range he had, you know, and like how lyrical I never realized how lyrical he was, because the most Big Sean I heard before I had access to like streaming services like Apple Music and Spotify, and I can like deep into his stuff. It was just YouTube and the radio, and though they really played more of his mainstream type stuff, him talking about like him disrespecting women and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then like when he really like spitting consciousness, that stuff don't make the radio. So I had to tap into like old mixtapes and like some of his new EPs, him working with Hit Boy and stuff like that. He makes some pretty good music, man. Yeah, for sure. I feel like nowadays with everything going on, if Kanye hate on you, that means you might be doing something. if Kanye take the time out of his day to be like, what did he say about Big Sean? He said he should have never signed him.
Yeah,
I think he said he should have never signed him.
Never should have signed him.
I'm like, dang. I don't even know the context of like why he said that, but I was like, hey, if Kanye signed him, he must have seen something in him at one point.
Facts.
Yeah.
Kanye West, man. Kanye West.
Oh man. If we talk about him in this end of year review, this is gonna be like a 4-hour video. Just off of like the last couple months of what's been going on.
Yeah, that's facts.
Which brings me to the first award of the night, Breakout Athlete. So, in your opinion, who do you think in any college or pro sport, which athlete had the best breakout season?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. There's been a lot of breakout athletes, I would say. Okay, I could say one in particular. You could say Justin Jefferson for the Minnesota Vikings kind of like broke out. Oh, no. My fault. Scratch all that.
I'm just hoping you don't take my answer, but continue.
I hope not. There's like a new era of NBA players, young NBA players who are just like just showcasing their talents right now in the NBA. And it's like it's taking the NBA level to a whole different level. Yeah. Like all these players like gifted and all that. So, I mean, I hope you wasn't going to say like jamorant.
No, I wasn't going to say jamorant.
Okay. But jamorant, like I was having discussions about debates about people thinking he's a superstar, whether he's not a superstar. And like jamorant, and like I'm picking jamorant, but there's other superstars as well, like Luka, Zion. Like there's so many young NBA players who are extremely talented and gifted, who are showcasing their skill like on a whole nother level. Like players at their age, we never seen them do what they done at their age, and they're doing it so early in their careers. Yeah. So I would say, I mean, I would just pick one in particular. Jamorant has been my breakout of the year so far. You know, people could argue he could have went to the finals last year.
He also won Most Improved last season, so like that, you're not very far from that. I would for my breakout athlete of the year, I think about like that improvement from that gap jump from 2021 to what was accomplished so far in 2022. And so far, I would say that breakout of the year athlete for me, that award is going to be won by Jalenhurts.
Okay.
Jalenhurts, his development from how I seen him play in that playoff game against the Buccaneers last year to how he's been playing. Granted, he has A.J. Brown now. He has another year experience within that system with Nick Sirianni, or however you say his name, his head coach. He's developed a lot, man. Like he's really, if you look at from his development from college, like that last year he was with Bama to like transferring to OU and going from there, like he's developed extremely as a passer.
Oh yeah.
Like he can act like he's up there like in terms of like passers in the NFL. Like before, I feel like he was more like scrambling quarterback. He's an athlete, short pass game, just keep the ball in his hands as a runner, go from there. But like he's really developed. Like I seen him plays, he's extending plays with his legs, but he's still passing the ball. He's stepping up in the pocket, and he's actually progressing through reads, getting to a second and third read. And as a college quarterback, that's something like I can admire, because like after a certain while, you see how you said with the NBA players, with them stepping up. For a lot of players, you can tell, like from me being a quarterback and me watching the game, I could tell like the game has really started to slow down for him. So that's been like beautiful to see, honestly.
Yeah, and like he's like his journey, bro. Like he won his freshman year at Alabama.
Yeah.
And then at some point got benched for Tua Tagovailoa
in the Natty.
In the national championship.
So like basically, to your point, in the biggest game of the season, your head coach decides this true freshman is going to give us a better chance to win over you.
Yeah. And then for him to go to OU, and then after he go to OU, people still doubting him. Then he get drafted in like the 4th round. And then now first he had backup at first. And then once he eventually takes that starting job, I think the Eagles had brought in, was it Joe Flacco? It was some veteran quarterback because they didn't fully believe him all the way.
I know they traded for traded for
that one Gardner
Minshew.
And that was that was honestly disrespectful. I see where they're coming from, but that's still disrespectful.
You don't want competition. You need depth in the NFL.
That is true.
Because you have to remember the Eagles' history. They thought Carson Wentz was their guy.
Yeah.
But every year he got injured. And then their backup quarterback won them a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So to them, depth is obviously extremely important.
Yeah, of course. So just to see where Jalen Hurts is now is like
it's crazy.
you gotta
growth,
really
man.
appreciate the journey
For sure.